I've just replaced the existing AGM deep cycle battery.
After nearly 18 months on the road, it's time for some upgrades.
Put the titanium upflaps to pimp it out a bit more.
And the Starlink, they're permanently mounted.
And some important maintenance.
I noticed that the big water tank, 170 litre, it was a little bit loose.
Take it off, put the new one on.
But there's also time for some R&R. And this Nomad gets a rest. We've just pulled up at Nomad's Rest near Gympie. We've got Site 5, really beautiful, and Jamie's just reversing the van in now. Keep coming. You need to be fully self-contained because there's no facilities on site and there's no potable water, which we didn't realise, so more on that shortly. Next morning, Jamie pops out with the car to get some much needed water.
Filling up the water tanks. I use Jerry's because you can go pick the water up from a tap that you can't reach with a hose. So that's why I use that. And it's always handy just to throw a Jerry in the car. So I've got the pump, little 12 volt pump, the Zudo one. About $100 or something that, and through my filter straight in. I like to get the last bits out through the clear tank so I can see where the hose is so it doesn't stop and suck against the base of the Jerry. So.
Jamie's prepping steaks, a few for dinner and a few for later. We bulk buy our meat, portion it out and vacuum seal it. So we've got some whole steaks, so there's enough for both of us in that one. And Jamie also slices it for stir fries, casseroles, that kind of thing. Not only does it make it last longer, it also takes up less room in the freezer. Next, some pork ribs. And finally, chicken breasts.
We were both 17 when we met on the Carolina shore. My heart was on the floor. It was burning like a July heat. The way you made me feel.
What have you got?
Got chicken strips to make the fried chicken. Chicken little bits. Stir fry. Pork spare ribs.
We were living in a country song, playing George Strait all night long. Bama tea with no makeup on. Yeah, we took the long way home. Fell in love with a southern girl on the tailgate of my southern world. Nothing left, we left it all.
After a couple of days at Nomad's Rest, it's time to hit the road again. We're back with our friends in Burpengary, just north of Brisbane.
Okay, so what we're going to do here, because the lip seal was leaking through the cassette here, then all the smells were coming back up through. So I had tried to replace the seal, but it just didn't work and then started breaking underneath. So we just got a whole new compartment apparatus. So all you do is take that off and turn around the other side so you can get a bit of leverage. Turn it, take it off. Put the new one on. Line the arrow up for where it goes in, and it's got to go around to there. So they say to pull that out, and it helps you get leverage. And then just turn it in and put that back around. And then from the other one, we just got a spare top there, so if it drops, you end up losing that or dropping it, we'll just throw that in the back, along with the spare cap that I've got sitting in the back of the toolbox. So you never know, you may lose one. And I think I've got a spare wheel there too, from a broken up one that we threw out, cassette.
Under the van again, I started doing redoing my mud flaps to protect all the water tanks. As you can see, all the grooves when we're going across the Great Central Road, the rocks hitting them, so it's apparently really strong, but we do 1,000 kilometres of rocks, it gets a little bit damaged, so we've got had the mud flaps up on it, but I bought some new titanium ones, so it looks all frigid and some aluminium, so I'm going to redo on that. But while I was under here, I noticed a big water tank, 170 litre. It was a little bit loose, so I have lowered it down a little bit. So I thought, oh well, while I was there, had some leftover bits of mud flap, so I've just slid that under there, so it's got a little ridge, so it just sort of helps it just to slot in and hold it up. So I've just put the ones at the top, and I've got a little piece just down in here, and then while I've taken them off, so I'm dropping it right down and take it off, and see how this one over here I haven't done, it's bent downwards or down, so I'm straightening them up and putting the bit of rubber up underneath it. Should be nice and firm, because we've noticed a little bit of rocking sometimes. Well, it was noise, so a little bit of rocking and there's a little bit of noise. So we're at a friend's house for a couple of weeks, doing a few things, and so I thought, well, good time to do a bit of maintenance, and because we're near Brisbane, and obviously when you're near Brisbane and cities and stuff, there's heaps of shops you can get stuff from, unlike when you're in the middle of nowhere. So there we go, a little bit of rubber here. That was touching a little bit more than I wanted it to, just with the bow the way it was, so just put a bit of rubber in. Got the rubber up there on the top, so now the tank's not touching the metal. And yep, there again, all there. These are straight now. Not that a big difference, but got rubber on the corners. So it was good to start with, but it's even better now. Just redoing the mud flaps that are going to go underneath the van, just to protect those water tanks and obviously the suspension, so they don't get sandblasted next time we go across the Great Central Road and places like that. Obviously protect all the hoses, help protect the hoses and things. I did have what I did up in Darwin, let's put these big pieces of metal here, heavy as, that's why it's gone to aluminium, and just had these cheap mud flaps that I bought up when I was in Darwin, well, I was actually in Catherine, and just bought what I could, and then we're down at the Titanium Service Centre in Brisbane and bought the titanium mud flaps to pimp it out a bit more, so it'd make it look really nice. The car's undercover for a change. It's the first time it's been undercover, and very good, because there's storms around here, as you've probably seen. And this is the result. A bit lighter aluminium instead of that solid steel one that I had, and the other bit of mud flaps I put up to the top here, just to stop the bits going through to the water tank. That just, not that really goes through too much, but it neatens it off a bit. So I've got a bit of angle here coming down to strengthen it, so weight, because it's only joined here with 2 screws onto that angle there, because otherwise it's all different heights and stuff on this caravan. So 2 there and the one down here that holds it up right. So, and yeah, it gives a bit of strength and a lot of protection there. So, and also from there, because we found that when the step goes up, it gets smashed here. It's all pitted here from when we went across the Great Central Road. So I was going to lower that down, but now we've got here, that's a fair bit lower, so it comes through. So it'll keep it down, so we'll see how we go, because you can even see where it's worn out. Good afternoon's work. and including the water tank.
In addition to the mud flaps that I did the other day, we've also got, we've done some PPF because we found the stone guard, with the way the car was, we're still flicking it up on the top, and we've had a little bit of damage. It's not real damage, just superficial stuff with regards to the decal that's there. We've had one or two up into the paintwork itself, but we've put PPF on the front just to give the bit extra protection. With the mud flaps, we had lowered at 60 millimeters, being 6 centimeters, when we got the GVM upgrade. We found these tyres really good in all weather, but they flick up a lot of stones, and because this is car, when we got it, had the track correction, so it brought it out an extra 50 mil. So that's why I put the extra piece down the side to stop the stones flicking up around the existing mudguard.
Thanks for helping you there.
Yeah, here's my helper and company. I've just replaced the existing AGM deep cycle battery with iTech 100 amp lithium. It can be under bonnet, and it has Bluetooth connection that you can actually check on it, so it's monitoring. And it's just a plug and play, so existing DC to DC controller, you don't have to do anything to it. All you do is just change the battery over under the bonnet. It's set up for its solar. So this one here comes from the solar panel, which I have put on the roof, permanently mounted. And then the A is for the car, so I can plug it in to charge this battery for the solar. And if I want to do the eco flow, then just put in the B. And I've also got the option with the iTech 200 amp fold out solar panel, I can just plug it into the other one as well, so I can end up having heaps of solar. And it's very handy with these fold out ones. So obviously I've got the one on the roof, but in these ones here, fold out, you can actually put them out and then get the afternoon sun, so or the early morning sun, where you don't get the full power from the one that's sitting on the roof. So yeah, I've just mounted it into, or store it in there. So I've got the eco flow set up there, so it's permanently running the fridge if we're not on power. I can plug it in, or another 12 volt in here, so that's the 12 volt for the, from the eco flow. The fridge runs down through there and then under there, and it plugs in with a movable cable. So we're on mains at the moment, so just save the battery and charging it. While we're on the EcoFlow, I've also put this, installed this 800 watt car charger. So whenever the car's going and it's got enough power, and we're driving along, we'll push out 800 watts and have the EcoFlow, which is 100 amp, from dead flat to fully charged in an hour and a half. The only thing is, you just got to keep an eye on them a little bit, because sometimes when they've been plugged in a while, for the plug up here, it plugs in the side, it's all plug and play, very good, won't charge for a while. So you just got to keep an eye on it sometimes. So I just, when we're sitting around like this, not utilising it, I just leave it unplugged because it's getting charged off the solar anyway. So. And that's a 190 watt Enerdrive solar panel. Really good, like that solar panel. We've got Enerdrive on the roof of the van. And the Starlink, they're permanently mounted. Really good brackets, nice and solid. It's not going to go anywhere. I've just run the cable down, around, through here, and then down over into the light, and there's a rubber grommet, and it's all siliconed up and goes through, and it just goes into the ceiling, down through, and there's a power box comes out in there. It's a transformer box, and the power for the Starlink. You just plug it into that goes to that iTech battery that's under the bonnet. We bought the Starlink mount. It comes as a kit. We've also got a kit for the power, and Bridie will put the details somewhere here.
In between all the hard work, we still make time for some fun, kicking back at Buddy Brewing. It's a family-run microbrewery and tap room in Burpengary, pouring a range of craft beers made on site with a relaxed, friendly vibe. We also met with Denise and Gary of Turtle Tracks Travels and supported our Perth Scorchers against the Brisbane Heat at the Gabba, where we saw a total of 36 sixes and 515 runs. What a game! That's it for this one. If you enjoyed the episode, give it a like and leave a comment. Our travels continue. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. See you there, and until then, safe travels.